I'm Ellis Martin, executive producer of The Opportunity Show. Thanks for being here. Today we're joined again by the silver guru, David Morgan of The Morgan Report. Mr. Morgan is one of the most preeminent world experts, not just in silver, gold, and precious metals, but related companies in the mining sector. He hosts a subscription-based website, silver-investor.com. There's a great deal of free, useful info on that website. And if you'd like to go beyond the massive amounts of informational offerings, your subscription would be well worth a modest investment. David is also an author, having penned the book Get the Skinny on Silver Investing, available on Amazon.com. He's a teacher, lecturer, world traveler, and we're pleased to have him here again on The Opportunity Show. David, thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure.
David, I'm at the Kitco Silver website right now, and you just penned a piece entitled Silver, Gold's Poodle. David, is that true? Is silver riding along on the coattails of gold these days?
I'd say these days it is, and as I said in the article, it goes back to years and years ago. I was an avid reader of everything financial and still am, and Barron's was one of the weekly publications that I pretty much read cover to cover. I actually don't read it that thoroughly anymore. But they always have a commodity section, and there was a headline that says, "Silver is gold's poodle." And I'll never forget that article because I had to laugh. And she made a point that silver always follows gold. It's not true in my view. I mean, I'm very studied in both the markets, silver and gold. And gold does certainly get more press and is more of a mainstream investment. I mean, look at what's going on in the mainstream radio and TV stations. You get the gold price as consistently as you get the Dow price. And you also get a lot of people on the shows that are saying, you should have gold in your portfolio now. Silver is hardly ever mentioned, and I believe it'll probably stay that way. However, near the end or the top of the market, silver usually overshoots gold. Now, it's been my contention from the beginning that silver would outperform gold. And thus far from the beginning of the bull market, it actually hasn't as of today. It always depends where you draw the starting line and where you draw the finish line. And that's what I don't like about stats, is that you can take some statistic and make it fit your slant, if you will. But silver actually did outperform gold from 2003 up until March of 2008. That's a fact. But again, it's backed off more than gold here recently. So in the long term, I believe that silver will outperform gold. I think that if you can handle the added risk, because silver's more volatile, it should definitely be in every precious metals portfolio. Is it a substitute for gold? No, I actually don't think so. I think gold is better at knowing you're going to preserve your wealth, but I think that silver is a kicker that adds substantially to the upside of a metals portfolio.
Now, what I've noticed in relation to that is while silver is hovering around $13 right now and gold back and forth close to near $900 an ounce, silver stocks have really taken off as of this broadcast. And I'm not sure necessarily silver stocks are the right investment at this time, either for the short or the long term, David. If you want to make money now, what is your advice?
Well, that's a good question, and I wish I could say, you know what, this is exactly what you do and exactly how you do it. I know you're a subscriber to my report. We put out a buy in early December, and we're looking to get out of that position. In fact, we got out of some of it in February, and then there was a bounce that I forecast so far. I've been right, luckily. And we're looking to get out of that position here within the next few days or next few weeks. And that's just for the trading part of the portfolio. But, it's really tough to make it on the short term, but if anything can move around, it's silver. So if you're good at swing trading or short-term trading, certainly. I mean, you look at, as you said, Pan American or Silver Standard. I mean, look at the moves these stocks have made off the bottom. They've tremendous moves. And silver, in my view, does lead gold at times. Now, I just said a minute ago that gold pretty much leads the way. From a broad brush perspective, it does. But from a real studied perspective, no. Silver actually can lead gold at times and has in the past, and I think will in the future.
You don't see the same sort of volatility with gold stocks right now that you're seeing with silver, though.
Well, silver is a very small market, and there's so few honest-to-God silver stocks. Excuse my emphasis, but it kind of upsets me because there are other people and other commentators, and certainly everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but they're not entitled to their own facts. And the facts are, to be a primary silver producer, it means that at least 50% of the revenue base to the bottom line of your balance sheet has to be from silver and silver only, not silver equivalents. You can't do alchemy and convert lead into the price of silver and call it silver. It's silver equivalent, and even that's misleading. So the amount of real silver a handful of companies. And because they are so rare and so precious, they tend to move like silver itself in a very volatile fashion. For an example, at the top of the market, if you want to know how to get out the top, I'll tell you right now. And this is from past history. Is it a guarantee for future? No, it's not, but it's pretty good evidence. At the top of the market, most of your top-tier gold stocks are selling for about 35 times earnings, whereas most of your top silver stocks will be showing at 50 times earnings. Why would a silver stock sell for more than a gold stock? The answer is I really don't know, but the market does. It's the same thing as why does Coca-Cola have a different PE than Pepsi-Cola? They're both sugar water. The answer is they do. And it's the same thing with the silver stocks. So silver stocks, I believe, are the place to be, as well as gold stocks. I certainly, like gold as, to a great extent. Probably not as much as silver, but I do believe you should have them both. But if you really want to add something into your portfolio, you should take a good look at the top-tier silver companies because they can really, really help your portfolio in the long term. Short term here, I think we're going to get a lot of backing and filling, and that means it's good for traders if you're able to trade.
And to really get a look at the companies that you like or that you favor specifically, it's best to go to your website, silver-investor.com, and take a look at getting a subscription.
Absolutely. In fact, what I'm going to do for our listeners today is do something that I've done periodically. It seems to be working pretty well. And that is you go to silver-investor.com and you put in a /free. So silver-investor.com /FREE. I will give you for 30 days a complete look at the Morgan Report members only portion of the website. There's a lot more than the Morgan Report in there, as you well know, Ellis. We've got videos, audios, back issues, mining reports. And what I do is I pick the 5 top gold and silver companies in the asset allocation model every month. And those are basically buy and hold positions that you can buy and hold without too much worry. Now, all markets move up and down. Let's be clear here. So just because you buy a top-tier silver or gold company or both doesn't necessarily mean from the day you buy it's going to go straight up. What it does mean is if you need that exposure in your portfolio, in other words, you need to have some metals in your portfolio, that's a good place to start. And then I have junior companies that I've ferreted out over, a long time and a lot of experience, and in my view, they're probably some of the best you can get. Most of these companies have got money. They're not going to go broke. They're not going to go off the board. And many of these juniors are, and unfortunately, that's just the case. They've run out of money. They're exploration companies. The market is not favorable to pouring money into exploration right now, and some of these companies are just going to go out of business because of the inability to raise funds.
So it's really, really risky to go out on your own and invest in silver stocks if you haven't done your homework or you really don't know what you're doing. You might be a new potential investor in silver with limited knowledge and drawn to a flashy junior silver exploration company website. It may look good at first, but you could get caught in a company that may be dying in the not-too-distant future and losing your investment possibly. You'd be much better off getting a thorough education following someone like yourself, the Silver Guru, and your website, silver-investor.com.
Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that. And, I'm all free market. I mean, if you think you can do it on your own, certainly go for it. And usually when you get free advice, it's worth what you paid for it. I found that out myself the hard way years and years ago, and I pay for advice. I have all kinds of services that I subscribe to, mostly not other newsletter writers. I do comp others, and they comp me. So I look at their work from time to time, but basically it's a lot on the technical side. I have a lot of services that I get that help me with technical analysis. My work is not that technical, as you know. It's basically based on fundamentals, although we do use technical analysis.
David, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today. I've enjoyed our interview, and I look forward to more. We've been speaking again with the Silver Guru, David Morgan. David's website is silver-investor.com. David, thanks again for joining me today.
My pleasure. Thank you, Ellis.
And for the Opportunity Show on the web at theopportunityshow.com, I'm Ellis Martin.